The way they play football here, they want a guy that's just going to manage the game, not make a lot of mistakes, and lead by example, and Rodney's been able to do that for sure.
He goes to the air, dumps it off to Lamar Smith. Smith going to be brought down in the backfield. He'll lose 5 yards in the process. And so it's going to be a third and very long situation for this Carolina offense.
Well played on the screen there by Ronald McKinnon, the middle linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals. Just sniffed it out and read it the whole way and was able to get over there and get a tackle for loss on Lamar Smith. Huge down right here in terms of being third down. Arizona has not been great defensively. Carolina has just been average offensively.
Oh, they have to get the ball to the 28-yard line to keep this drive going. Pete has the time, can't find a receiver. Well, that's certainly not his forte. He brings it down, picks up 7 yards, and so it'll make it a closer attempt.
Guys are covered all over the football field, and Arizona elects to go with only a 3-man rush. Drop 8 guys. Isaac Bird bracketed up right there. You'll see Steve Smith here on the other side. Looks like he had David Barrett for a sec, but you have the safety, Justin Lucas, sitting inside right there. Everybody covered downfield.
So Todd Sauerbrunn comes on to punt. Arnold Jackson, the deep man for Arizona. They fake it. It's snapped up to the short guy, and instead of punting it, they give it to Carl Hankton, hoping that he can get the first down, and he's going to be far short. Well, if you're going to try a fake, I guess this is the territory to do it, and it would have been about a 53-yard kick had they tried a field goal. Didn't want to do that, and I guess rather than kicking it into the end zone, they decided to play the field position game and give it back to Arizona.
Silver white winters that melt into spring. These are a few of my favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things.
The Agile Play of the Week is brought to you by Microsoft, providing software to help businesses be more agile. Andy Reid's Eagles reached deep into the playbook with a fake punt that was snapped to Brian Mitchell, who then shoveled a pass to Brian Dawkins for a touchdown.
Running with the football wide open, getting a block is Brian Dawkins. Dawkins across the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown!
Dawkins' elusive speed was instrumental to the play's success.
Throws that one this time, completes it out to David Boston near midfield. Good enough for a pickup of 14 and a first down.
Here's the unsuccessful fake punt. It's going to be a snap to Brad Hoover there. Carl Hankton's going to come around with a guy in front of him trying to get the block, and really well defensed by Arizona up front. Now, that's not their punt return unit they have in there. That's their base defense playing what they call punt safe on defense. Carolina showing a lot of stuff on their defense by bringing them out there.
First down. Anderson dances around for a pickup of 3 yards on the play. And on the previous possession, Reggie Howard picked off Plummer, but he was hurt on the tackle, injured his ankle, and is doubtful as for a return. So you see him going to the locker room right now. Emmanuel McDaniel now in at the other cornerback spot, replacing Howard.
Emmanuel McDaniel is a guy with a lot of experience, played up in New York with the Giants. And back to my point on the punt, fake punt, Curt, a lot of confidence in that defense when you run a fake punt down in that area.
On second down. The pitch to Anderson. Gets the block, brings it down the sideline. There's a flag down in the backfield as well. But Anderson showing a little burst of speed there.
Some pretty good things when he was at Northwestern, Curt. His junior year at Northwestern, over 2,000 yards rushing on the ground for him.
Holding, number 34, offense, 10 yards, second down.
That's called on Makovic, the fullback, negates a 16-yard run. Makes it a 26-yard penalty. You throw in the 10 yards that they're penalized, so a big one.
The hold's going to come right here on Mike Rucker. You'll see Makovic try to get into his legs, and then basically just tried to wrap him up and bring him down. And obviously what created the edge, which gave the big run to Damian Anderson.
And it backs Arizona up to their own 43. Plummer under pressure. Julius Peppers hit him. Ball popped out. Arizona falls on it. The #1 draft pick out of the University of North Carolina, chosen #2 overall, showing why.
And he's right here, Julius Peppers. He's going to beat Leonard Davis with pure speed around that corner. Dip, rip, and then knock that football loose. Curt, they called it an incomplete pass. Said Jake's arm was already in motion, but Julius Peppers, 3 sacks against Detroit in week 2, and this guy can put up some big numbers in a hurry.
Well, you talked about the speed versus size. He's got the speed, even though Big Leonard Davis has him by about 100 pounds. Big third down, needing the Carolina 40-yard line, not even going to be close as they give it to Makavika, and he stopped shy of midfield by Dan Morgan.
Right back at Julius Peppers here, left defensive end, and gets himself upfield. And that's one thing Julius Peppers does. He'll make some great plays for you, Curt. He's got great ability, but he'll run himself out of plays at times just because he's not thinking. He still needs some coaching. He needs some seasoning. We talk about raw athletic ability. Not too many guys parallel him around this league.
Scott Blair on for his first punt. Back to Steve Smith, the dangerous return guy, or at least it was last year. Numbers down a bit this season since he's a full-time wide receiver as well. Smith lets that go over his head and into the end zone for running room. Picks up about 4 on the play. David Barrett brought him down on the tackle.
Carolina's going to have to run the football with some success today with Lamar Smith. We talked about it in the open. He leads the NFC, Curt, in rushing. And when you don't have 2 of your top weapons, and Muhsin Muhammad is out, and Wesley Walls has got a broken finger, which was actually a compound fracture during the week. He's out there playing today. The running game will be so important today for Carolina.
Well, Smith has been okay. He's got 3 consecutive games with 2 touchdowns in each. He gets another carry on the draw. Drawing the crowd as well. Picks up about a yard on the play. Russell Davis, the first guy in red to get there, but followed by a whole bunch of guys afterwards.
There's just nothing up front. Vandenbosch will get upfield a little bit, but they'll just build a wall right here for the defense, and Lamar Smith will have absolutely nowhere to go. Good fill in there by Woods, the linebacker, and boy, Russell Davis in there making things happen.
Panthers with 3 wide receivers and an empty backfield. Now Smith shifts back there. They need the 30 for the first. Quick pass. Steve Smith can't grab it, incomplete. David Barrett was right there to make sure he didn't.
Rodney had a little heat on this football, but Steve Smith still should have been able to come down with it.
And Barrett's slow to get up. Well, Carolina lost a cornerback on the first possession. And here on the second, Arizona sees one of theirs slow to get up.
On November 1st, Agent Alex Scott will be given his most dangerous assignment yet.
You're working with a civilian. America needs me.
Columbia Pictures presents Eddie Murphy, Owen Wilson.
Put that on. This looks like a sock. It's a spy mask. Hey, man, this is a sock.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I Spy.
You mean like 007?
Except only I'm gonna be 009 and a half.
Rated PG-13.
As sure as day follows night, you turn the ball over, you don't win, you don't, you do.
That's right. And 2 wins, they're +2, and 2 losses, -2. And Jake's already got the 1 interception today that Reggie Howard picked off.
They start this drive at their own 8-yard line. Plummer going for Boston. Overthrown, incomplete. Deion Grant got a hand on it.
David Boston, Curt, has not been himself over the last 3 weeks. Had an outstanding game in week 1 against the Redskins, going over for 100 yards. But when you look at his numbers over the last 3 weeks, They have not been very good. In 4 games, he's only got 16 grabs. They'll need David Boston to be a bigger, in terms of big play receiver than that.
He's got a sore right foot that he's been battling through and has had trouble practicing on it. Kind of tweaked it again in practice this Wednesday, although he did go on Thursday and Friday. They give it to Anderson on 2nd down. Kid makes a nice move or two, pick up 6 yards on the run. Dan Morgan with the stop.
Talked about the speed versus power, and you saw Peppers get the pass rush on the speed. Let's watch the power here by big Leonard Davis. Once he gets his hands on you, forget about it. You're on skates. Just pushing Julius Peppers completely out of the play. That's got to be the biggest dude I have ever met in my life. Curt. He's 372 pounds, and he's lean.
Yeah, he's not fat at all. Big 3rd down. Cardinals have to get it to the 18-yard line. Frank Sanders gets the 1st down. All the way out to the 28. Give him 15.
Well, good protection by Leonard Davis and the boys up front. And where do they go? They go to Frank Sanders, who's being covered by Emmanuel McDaniel, Curt, who is in there because Reggie Howard has left the game with a bad ankle. Good time for Jake, and see Frank get out there, and Emmanuel McDaniel beating on the play.
2 tight ends in on 1st down. Anderson with speed. 14 yards and another 1st. Well, I saw Anderson on the field before the game. Obviously just signed off the practice squad on Friday. He's not used to suiting up, and he was excited to go.
Absolutely, and you got a couple of reserves in here. Gilbert and Al Wallace over there at right defensive end, and L.J. Shelton and Bush get a good double team on Wallace. He takes the easy way, goes inside. You're going to give up a big running lane when you don't play your gap of responsibility, and Al Wallace gave it up big time there.
From the 42, Anderson again. And this time Sean Gilbert grabbed him right at the line of scrimmage, maybe fell forward for a yard.
Excellent job defensively in terms of Jack Del Rio, the D coordinator, making a call here. They figured they'd come right back Arizona with the same play. This time Gilbert's going to get around on a game and get right in on the tackle. Watch Sean Gilbert take off and get in on the tackle right here. Well called play in anticipation by Jack Del Rio.
All an old pro in his 10th year. Sean Gilbert, now a backup here in Carolina, but it probably conserves him more, especially since he's got creaky knees at this old age. Flag down on the play. Anderson with the grab. Let's see what the marker's for.
Looks like it's going to be Julius Peppers. Offsides. Jake drew him off with the cadence.
Offside, 90, defense, jumped into the neutral zone, penalties decline, 1st down.
That's the call. They'd rather have the 12-yard gain.
He's right here, and he's just itching to get off the football and get to the quarterback, and jumps right there. And Jake, playing smart, knows it's a free play, just kicks it down to Damian Anderson, and they pick up the 1st.
At the Carolina 46-yard line. Off the play action. Plummer in trouble, brings it down, falls forward, and picks up 1 yard on the run. Scrambling forward. Dan Morgan got the tackle, but Al Wallace was the guy who forced Plummer to pull it down.
Al Wallace had a good rush here. You're seeing what they're doing to Julius Peppers. Bush is going to come here and help seal with the tight end, Freddie Jones. Peppers just drops into coverage, but it's the other side is where the pressure comes from, and it's Al Wallace up top right there. He's going to slip around Dishman and able to flush Jake out of there.
Boston going in motion. They hand it off. Anderson runs for 4 yards. Chris Jenkins with the stop. Well, this kid so far, I mean, has been quite impressive for a guy who on Friday had not played an NFL game but only practiced with the team.
Yeah, he does. And talking to Jake Plummer and those offensive linemen, they feel very good about having Damian Anderson back there. And frankly, they don't really care who it is back there. They think they're doing such a good job up front, getting push and knocking people off the football. Just about any running back in the NFL is going to get some positive yards behind those big boys.
He's out of the game on 3rd down. They need the Carolina 36-yard line to keep this one going. Boston let it through his hands. David Boston had one he knows he should have caught.
Well, as big as he is, 248 pounds, he shies away from the big hit from this guy, Deion Grant. Right here, watch a perfect throw from Jake Plummer, right in the breadbasket. David Boston knows he's about to get ripped by Deion Grant, who's got some pretty good size, 6'2", 210 pounds for Deion Grant. Boston simply dropped that football, Curt.
Scott Blair on to punt. Steve Smith back for Carolina. Another high kick. Smith calls for the fair catch and makes it right at the 6-yard line. Carolina going with 2 tight ends on 2nd down. Lamar Smith finds running room. Gets out near that 1st down marker. Adrian Wilson on the tackle. And it appears as though that will be the final play of the 1st quarter. Neither team able to put the ball in the end zone just yet. Will continue. And Carolina starts the ball here in the 2nd quarter, something they didn't have it a whole lot in the 1st. Time of possession, Arizona held the ball nearly 11 minutes in that 1st quarter. But it's a 3rd and short situation, less than a yard to go. Lamar Smith gets the 1st down.
Time of possession will be huge today, I think, towards determining the outcome of this football game. Carolina has been number 3 in the league in time of possession, and what they've done is they've worn people down. Lamar Smith is a guy that gets better as he goes into the 4th quarter. They wear people down, they keep their defense fresh on the sideline, and that's a lot of why they are the number 1 defense in the league. They don't spend a lot of time on the field defensively.
Carolina with their first down of the ball game. Off the play action. That's Smith out of the backfield. Slips a tackle and fights his way near another 1st down.
Rarely does Lamar Smith get brought down by the first guy that comes up to try to tackle him. And it doesn't matter if he's getting the tough yards inside, Curt, or if he's out on the edge in space. He can usually make someone miss. You'll see him get out and get the check down pass from Rodney Pete. Everyone covered downfield. Lamar, and then watch, he'll just make Raynock miss right there, step through his hands, and again, picking up a big 1st down for Carolina.
Well, last week he battled cramps throughout the 4th quarter in that game in Green Bay and missed a lot of time. Should be a little more juiced up this week. Pete up top. Anthony Bright can't hang on.
Oh.
Boy, Anthony Bright, a speedy young receiver that they expect big things from, getting a chance because of the injuries this week and can't pull that one in.
Well, this guy comes out of a community college, and you'll see him go on the takeoff route, and he's just going to be gone on David Barrett. Rodney Pete with all day to throw the football. Good coverage by Barrett. Pete lays it out there on the fingertips. Bright just couldn't come down with it. Should have laid out for that one, Curt.
Yeah, played no college football at all. And was discovered running track. Then went to the Arena League 2. Lamar Smith still finding his way out to the 31-yard line. We need to get it out to Los Angeles for our first game break from JB.
Hey, Kerry, Giants intent on not making mistakes this week. First play of the 2nd quarter, Kerry Collins whips this one to Ike Hilliard. Good 2nd effort, just the 3rd touchdown in 12 red zone possessions for the Giants this season. They're up by a touch. Back to Curt and Tim.
Well, anyone who saw them play against this Arizona team last week knows what happened at the end of the 1st half. The interception. You didn't have to see this game. Everybody in the country saw it.
That's what he said.
Turned things around. Arizona went on to win 21-7. Pete. Almost picked off right into the hands of Adrian Wilson.
Well, again, I don't know what Rodney's thinking here, trying to squeeze it in. to Steve Smith, and there's 4 red shirts around that football, and very fortunate Adrian Wilson didn't come up with that, hit him right in the numbers, just simply dropped the interception. Rodney's looking at Steve Smith the whole way. Look at Adrian Wilson read the quarterback's eyes, and look at all the red shirts over there around Steve Smith, Curt.
One of those is too good to be true, maybe, if you're Wilson. Sauerbrunn had a 56-yard punt his last time up. Arnold Jackson. Oh, is he hit? Terrell Cooper.
What a body rocker. Are you kidding me? Woo!
53 yards on the front and a migraine at the end.
I see linebackers blitz, cornerbacks too, cartwheels and splits, and foam-fingered fools. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see guys who kick, girls who cheer, picture in picture, and ice cold beer. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
You tell me special teams aren't exciting in this league. You kidding me?
Arizona begins at the 17-yard line, first down. Damian Anderson picks up a yard on the play. I think Arnold Jackson would have been happy with a yard on this punt return.
First of all, it's a bomb by Sauerbrunn, and watch Rod Cooper. Oh! Wow. Think of how good that kick must have been, Curt, to go 50-plus yards, and your guy gets down there and gets the hit simultaneous with the guy catching. You talk about hang time. That's good stuff.
On second down, Anderson again. Not much running room as he's brought down right at the 22-yard line.
But it's enough. I think when you're
4 yards.
Yeah, in your Arizona on first and second down, you have to have some success today. And they've been able to do that because anytime Carolina forces teams into 3rd and 6+ or 3rd and long, we should say, they absolutely stone people 92% of the time, and 8% completion percentage in terms of 3rd down for offenses in 3rd and long against Carolina defensively.
Right now, they need the 27-yard line. Plummer from the shotgun, we get a flag.
False start, number 67, offense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
Well, they were in 3rd and manageable. They get a penalty, and this is the least most penalized team, second least most penalized team in the National Football League.
Least most?
Second, yeah, whatever. let me rephrase that. Arizona is number 2 in the league in terms of penalties. They're very, very good, 3.8 per game.
Well, you see Arizona today, greater than 7 yards, 0 for 1. Right now they have to get it to the 27, needing 11. Down the sideline, out of bounds, incomplete. It'll be a 3 and out for Arizona.
Expect to see more of this today. You see a double come down here on Peppers, and then they'll roll Jake out to the right. See Freddie Jones come down and try to seal Julius. And then Jake Plummer gets outside, and that's where Jake is most dangerous, out of the pocket.
Well, that's the 3rd 3 and out for Arizona today, but they shouldn't be ashamed. Carolina leads the league in forcing the most 3 and outs. That's why they're the number 1 ranked defense, in part. Scott Player. Another high kick. Steve Smith takes it at the 29. Only 4 yards on the return of it. They go with 2 tight ends on first down. Peak. Smith out of the backfield. Loses the football, and it's fallen on by Arizona. Ronaldo Hill recovers the fumble.
It's like big Fred Wakefield coming from behind in pursuit. And again, it's this defensive line for Arizona that has really stepped up their play the last couple of weeks. Fred's out here at left end. Rod will throw it down to his check down, and now the defensive line will start pursuing. Bam, right there. Fred Wakefield goes and knocks that out. Fred Wakefield, folks, has got a non-stop motor. Look at him knock that football out. Ronaldo Hill able to come up with it. That's that attacking defense. You got 11 guys swarming to the football. It's amazing what can happen when you're able to do that.
And it gives Arizona the ball at the 25-yard line. Anderson brought down right at the line of scrimmage by Mike Rucker.
Arizona's going to have to take advantage of getting this turnover here, Curt. I mean, last week against the New York Giants, their defense forced a couple of big turnovers. The offense would come in and lay an egg and do absolutely nothing. They've got to get points out of this turnover.
Dave McGinnis has the style of defense that he wants, aggressive, pursuing, create a couple of turnovers. He needs to get more production from his offense. Last week, they just wore down the Giants. We'll see if they can do it this time on second down at the 25. Anderson again. Nowhere to run. Julius Peppers with a stop. Gain of 1.
Julius out here at the left end. Big Leonard Davis just going to go to the next level. Julius unblocked, and again, he's got that speed, Curt, to filter down the line of scrimmage and get in on those plays. And getting his home field fired up here in Carolina.
The third down for the Arizona offense and Carolina defense. They are 0 for 2 in this situation so far today. They go with 3 wide receivers, leading the 15. Boston dropped another.
Well, another drop for David Boston. Where is David Boston's concentration level?
Well, he was wide open on that one. Wide open.
You see him out here, and he's going to drag over the middle. Jake with pretty good time, and got to catch that football. A little bit behind him, but you got to catch that football.
Well, he's missed a lot of practice time with that sore foot.
You said it. You miss practice, you lose concentration, period.
Brings on Gramatica for a 41-yard attempt. And it's good. And so Arizona turns the turnover into points, and they take the lead 3-0. A 22-yard return by Smith. Well, Gramatica put one in from 41 yards away. Not exactly what they wanted after getting the ball at the 25, but at least it's points.
And you see there, only 2 yards in 4 plays for Arizona on offense. And you mentioned the D coordinator, Jack Del Rio. He's got to be really happy with his group, the way they've performed all year long, Curt, in sudden change situations. After a turnover, when the momentum changes, they call it sudden change. The defense has come in and just stymied people.
Well, they've given up only 11 points a game. Only the San Diego Chargers have given up fewer. 2 tight ends in on first down. Lamar Smith again. Smith picks up 4 yards. We pick up JB with another update.
And Curt, what couldn't be picked up by Washington here? Take a look at Steve McNair of the Titans dropping back. Real quick look. He decides to fly, and he does. 11 yards to pay dirt. Titans move ahead of the Skins. Injury-riddled Skins now. 7-3. That in the second. Back to Curt and Tim.
And quarterback changing Skins as Danny Werfel gets the start this week. Shane Matthews now the number 3 QB. On second down, Lamar Smith plows his way through. Going to be about 2 yards short of the first down.
Excellent surge up front by that offensive line, getting the push. This is where Lamar Smith makes an offensive line look good. I mean, they'll get 1 or 2 yards and pushing the defense off the line of scrimmage, and Lamar will just get up inside and get those tough yards, and those are the kind that the offensive line really appreciate.
We understand in that Washington game, Werfel's been hurt, so he's now out of the game, and the rookie Patrick Ramsey
out of Tulane
is now in at quarterback. 3rd and short. Carolina needs the 43. on the rollout. Steve Smith makes the catch. Good enough for the first down. He picked up 4 yards. Ray Thompson on the stop.
Well executed there by Carolina offensively. Able to pin down Fred Wakefield, the defensive end, and give Rodney an edge to sprint out to the right. You're going to see the pin down right here on Wakefield, and then Rodney's just got a free lane to run out there, look for Steve Smith, and throw the dart for the first down. Again, though, you got to start to look for these tight ends now to get involved for Carolina.
Well, they've got 2 tight ends in right now. One of them is Keith Heinrich in the backfield. And Lamar Smith and Rodney Peete ran into one another, so that play had no chance as Smith goes down for a 1-yard loss.
Arizona came with the big blitz up the middle, which actually is a perfect defensive call for this inside run. You're going to see the safety and the backer come right up. Lamar and Rodney run into each other. Now, more backs than not, Curt, will go down right there and end up with a tackle for loss for a -3 yards. Lamar, with his vision, stays on his feet, keeps his legs going, and able to get it near back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, Smith has been a key pickup coming from Miami during the offseason. Thought he'd be a backup, but their top pick, Deshaun Foster, has been hurt all season long, and Smith has taken up the slack. There's the pass to Wesley Walls. It's only a short gain of 4 yards, but the first catch for Walls in a couple of weeks.
How about that? Wesley Walls at Green Bay last week did not have a catch against the Green Bay Packers. That's only the second time since he's been here in Carolina since 1996 that he's gone a game without a catch. And you know what, Curt? He's not going to get a lot of balls thrown his way in this offense, but says he's not going to complain about it. He's just going to get out there and play and take what comes to him. If the play's there, he'll make it. Said there was no way he could have quit after last year, after that team went 1-15.
Well, he was carted off the field late in the season in a game against St. Louis and thought that might be his last game with Carolina, but decided to come back with the new regime. Carolina uses the timeout, down 3-0.
On Rodney Peete, they'll need to do a better job.
Carolina needing the 45 of Arizona. Wesley Walls drops that one incomplete. And we mentioned playing with that broken ring finger on his right hand. That ball hit him right in that right hand.
Well, he broke, as you mentioned, the right ring finger in practice, and you see him get down to the middle of the field here. 3 or 4 guys around him. Rodney tries to squeeze it into the big tight end, and Wesley should have caught this football.
Yeah, but it hit him in the
right on the right
hand.
That's right. It's the right ring finger, and it was a compound fracture, Curt, in practice last week.
Todd Sauerbrunn on to punt. He's already got a couple of 50-yarders today. And this one going to be in that area as well. Takes an Arizona bounce, however, back out to the 12-yard line. So it's spotted down there. He only gets 40 yards on the punt. Well, Bill O'Reilly factors the growing threat in Iraq. The president speaks to the nation. What will be our next course of action in the war on terror? Watch the O'Reilly Factor. It's news as a contact sport on the Fox News channel. Of course, check your local listings for time in your area.
Curt, what a weapon Sauerbrunn is with his ability to kick those punts. They play the hidden yardage game in terms of field position, and it really bodes well for Carolina. And Jake's got to get it going here. Guy's got to catch footballs, though, when he puts them out there. David Boston already a couple of big drops early in this football game.
On first down, hands it off to Damian Anderson, and he is rocked. Shane Burton.
Dan Morgan also coming in and filling and getting a big hit on Damian Anderson. I tell you, this guy is right back at home at middle linebacker. They played him out at strong last year, and you'll see him right here. He's going to get up and fill and just make the big play. Look at him sift through the blockers. No gain on the play for Damian Anderson.
Second and long. Quick pass tipped at the line of scrimmage by Mike Rucker, and it falls incomplete. Oh, this game, neither offense has really been able to put a whole lot together And so far in this game, the key play has been the fumble by Lamar Smith at his own 25-yard line and set up a 41-yard kick by Bill Gramatica for the only point so far in this ball game.
Are you surprised? Because I'm
No,
not.
this is exactly what you expect.
Absolutely.
3 wide receivers in on 3rd down. They need the 23-yard line for the first. Makovica, nowhere to go. Dan Morgan stops him after a short pickup of 2 yards, and this Carolina defense comes through one more time.
Well, there it is, the 3rd and long, and Carolina just stones everybody there, and Arizona elects to go with a little bit of a screen. Exactly what you want from a defensive standpoint. The ends got up the field, got in Jake's face, and Brenston Buckner, the defensive tackle, and Dan Morgan, middle linebacker inside, executed very well getting over there to the running back and getting him down.
That's the 4th 3-and-out forced by the Panther defense today. Scott Player punts it deep. Steve Smith going to take that one right at the 43. Gets it back into Arizona territory. Marte Jenkins forcing it out of bounds. 40 yards on the kick, 17 on the return. Well, of course, this is Fox's first year as a head coach in the National Football League. Dave McGinnis is second as a full-time head coach. He came in at the end of the season a couple of years ago. Well, these two guys have been friends since way back, and you know they were happy to see each other before kickoff.
It's John Fox's wife right there.
You're loving it here.
Big-time ball coach.
That's right.
I think we just did that.
The big-time ball coach.
On the flea flicker, Rodney Pete's got it back. Down deep for Isaac Bird, and they draw the flag.
Yep. It'll be pass interference on Ronaldo Hill. The old flea flicker. We saw it in practice, Curt, on Friday. They elect to go with it here, and excellent coverage down there on Isaac Bird, but Rodney lays it out. It's like a defender got on Isaac Bird's back. The referees are down there in conference trying to figure out what happened. Is the ball catchable? That's the key. I think it was. I think Ronaldo Hill was on his back.
And that may be the discussion that's going on right now.
Foul.
And they decide it's not.
I disagree. I disagree. I think if Isaac Bird is on his feet, he's able to run under that football. You'll see him coming here. I think if he stays on his feet, Curt, he's able to get to that football. I don't like that call. I mean, it's obvious interference with Ronaldo Hill on his back.
Well, absolutely no question about the interference, but once again, if the officials determine it was not catchable, then they can pick it up and say it's no flag. And Jack Del Rio, who's the defensive coordinator, saying, hey, I coach defense. I know that was a ball that they probably would have caught. But the flag's picked up, no penalty, and Carolina has it again at the 44-yard line. Quick pass out to Steve Smith. Smith going to be down near the first down marker. Stopped by David Barrett. Let's go back to the flea flicker.
You'll see Bird, he'll leak in here, and then he'll just take off on the takeoff route as the flea flicker develops. Now he'll go now. He's just taking it down the hash marks. Hill on his back right there, trips him up.
Boy, you hate to use a trick play and waste it for no gain. Smith out of the backfield. Nice open field tackle by Rob Fredrickson. Stops him after a gain of 4. Well, you look at our Fox scoreboard. As soon as something happens, you can see the Giants just scored to take the lead over Dallas 14-7. It's our instant scores.
Right.
You don't get that anywhere else, do
No,
you?
no, you don't.
You walk down the street, you ask a guy, what's the score? If somebody just scored, he doesn't know.
Let me turn on Fox and I'll find out.
That's the only way to find out. 2 tight ends for Carolina. One of them, Mangum, goes in motion. Towards the end zone for Mangum, overthrown, incomplete.
Rodney had him, just overthrew it, put a little too much air under the football, and Mangum down the seam. I'll tell you one thing to look at in terms of the big picture, and you see Mangum right here. Rodney just lays that up a little too high. Too much air under the football, and just off the fingertips of Mangum, and Rodney knows he had him.
Another 3rd and long. They have to get it to the 24. Towards the end zone again. Bird with the catch and the touchdown.
So much for redemption at hand for the Carolina Panthers. Bird's the one that got the no call, of course, on the flea flicker. And see Bird coming in motion here. As the ball is snapped, he's just going to take off. He's going to feel himself around, and Adrian Wilson just goes up and tries to flash in front of his face, and Bird with great concentration able to go up and get that football. But Curt, it all starts with that great time they gave Rodney Peete up front. They've done it all day long.
His first touchdown reception of the year. And Shane Graham comes on to put the extra point through. And the Carolina Panthers take the lead for the first time today at 7-3.
And we talked about him spreading it around. Isaac Bird.
The ball at the 40-yard line with all 3 timeouts.
Yep.
And just under 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
When Jake gets under center, when they run that 2-minute offense, not too many guys better than Jake Plummer. That's one thing he does. When he's not thinking, Curt, I think he's a better football player. I think that's been a big problem with Jake Plummer and his consistency this year. Is he's trying too hard. He's trying to aim things in there, and he's thinking too much.
His offensive line too good, giving him too much time?
Maybe.
Jake might disagree with that.
They've only given up 7 sacks on the year.
I think they'll take the time, but you're right. He seems to go better when he doesn't have to think. And right now, with his 2-minute offense starting at his own 40. Quick pass to the tight end, Freddie Jones, gain of 7. They go right back to the line of scrimmage with no huddle, knowing they've got 3 timeouts to stop the clock whenever they want.
Freddie Jones is a guy that Jake feels he has to get the ball to at least 5 times a game.
That was his first catch today. That's his second catch. Good enough for a first down into Carolina territory.
He knows where his safety outlet is, that's for sure. You need to pick up 6, 7, 8 yards. Find your tight end, Freddie Jones, who goes about 271 pounds. This is a big dude playing out at tight end, and has always been a good receiver in his days, Curt, in San Diego, but I think I've been more impressed this year with his ability to block.
Right.
He and Leonard Davis, I mean, absolutely pancaked Michael Strahan a few times last week in that football game. And
he played his college ball right up the road at Chapel Hill at the University of North Carolina. First down at the 47.
3-man rush for Carolina.
They come on the blitz, though. Morgan chases Plummer out of the pocket. That's batted in the air by Mark Fields, incomplete.
And that's what Carolina likes to do. They show the 3-man look, which is basically your prevent defense, and then bring Morgan and Cousins on the weak side. They've gotten some sacks in this. You'll see Morgan come up here, and then Cousins will flash in here on the blitz as well. Little flush Jake out and make him get rid of the football early. And it's another thing that Carolina does a great job of, getting their hands on footballs and tipping them up in the air.
You see Washington has scored to take the lead over Tennessee. Arizona trying to do the same thing. Plummer steps up and pulls it down. About 3 yards shy of the first down, maybe 4.
Again, pretty good push by that Carolina front four. Looked like Jake had David Boston open. He flashed open for a second. Jake steps up in the pocket, and now he's just got to take off and run. You see David Boston out here. Oh, he's open big time in the soft spot of that zone. Jake just didn't find him.
They've got to cross the 37 for the first down. gets it out to Frank Sanders. Still in bounds, though. But he gets the first down to the 28-yard line.
Well, he's got the rapport with Frank Sanders.
That forces Arizona to use its first timeout. Sanders trying to plead his case for getting out of bounds. Didn't work, but they still have the ball for the first down and 1:02 left. Plummer goes to Marte. Good enough for a first down at the 17-yard line, a gain of 11.
Moving their way down the field, putting themselves right into field goal position. For Grammatica, you got to take a couple shots here at the end zone.
They do have 2 timeouts to play with as well. Underneath, Makovica slips inside the 10-yard line. Arizona uses timeout number 2. So they're inside the 10 with 30 seconds and a timeout.
I mean, it doesn't come too often that you're down there threatening to punch it in, and when you are, take some shots to try to get across that goal line, get your team 6 points.
As good as this Carolina defense has been, their weakness has been the red zone. 4 touchdowns in 5 possessions by their opponents, 80%. Only the Detroit Lions are worse. But the bottom line is, 5 possessions, that's about 1 a game.
Yep.
So they don't allow teams down here very often.
Keep your eye on Freddie Jones here, Curt. Right here.
On second down, Plummer. That ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. Falls incomplete, and I think Mike Rucker, who batted one down earlier, got a hand on that one.
That's number 2 for Mike Rucker today. And again, coming out of the 3-man rush, you'll watch Mike here get up and then just get those hands up. Jake's trying to get it out to Frank Sanders, and Mike just gets those hands up and able to bat it down. And that's part of why this guy is NFC Defensive Player of the Month. He's not getting after the quarterback or making tackles, Curt. He's batting down passes.
I know where you're going.
On 3rd and short. If they get the 7-yard line, they'll get a first down. Plummer rolling out with running room. Decides to throw it into the end zone, and it's broken up by Emmanuel McDaniel. That ball was intended for Marte Jenkins. It goes incomplete.
Jake should have taken off and run this football. Had a lot of room.
Yeah, I thought he would to get the first down.
Boy, he had a lot of room to pick up that first down at the 7-yard line. Watch how Wallace get pinned inside, trying the inside move. Gives up the contain on Jake Plummer. You cannot do that with a guy like Jake. Could have easily picked up the first down and elects to try to squeeze it into Marte Jenkins.
They could have tried to run a couple of plays, especially with 1 timeout, but instead they'll settle for the 28-yard field goal attempt by Grammatica. And it's through. So Grammatica 2 for 2 on field goals this afternoon, and the Cardinals pulled it within a point at 7 for Rodney Peete. Rodney Peete there in the first half, 9 of 16, but you see most of those passes weren't very far from the line of scrimmage.
Well, he's only had 1 real big play, and of course that one went to Isaac Byrd for the touchdown right there, the 30-39, and Carolina's been a big play offense this year. They lead the NFL, Curt, in plays over 20 yards.
Lamar Smith on the carry. Picks up 2 yards on the run. Take a look at the first half stats.
Really a defensive struggle like we thought. Pretty balanced here for Arizona in rush and pass. Both teams with the turnover, but here's the big one. They talked about time of possession on both sides of the football towards determining who wins or loses this game. Right now, the Cardinals, Curt, are winning that battle.
But they're down by a point. Does that mean anything?
Now, it just means one thing. That defensively, they're getting a lot of rest over there on the sidelines, which will pay dividends in the 4th quarter.
Peete.
Nice.
Isaac Byrd gets the first down. Gain of 10 yards on the pass.
Boy, that's just too easy. A huge cushion given up by Ronaldo Hill there, who's filling in for Dwayne Starks out at corner. And you'll see him here. And watch this. It's just an out by Isaac Byrd. But look at the big cushion that he gives. He's turning those hips and running already. Byrd able to come down with the easy catch on the out. But, again, Rodney Peete under no pressure on that play.
Give him a first down at the 39. The pitch to Lamar Smith. Actually, D. Brown is now in the football game, and D. Brown
just loves having this guy back in the secondary at strong safety. He goes 6'2", over 205 pounds, and will come up and hit you. Was inactive the first game with a shoulder separation. This guy here, Adrian Wilson, but been playing hurt. Been making some big plays back in the secondary for the Cardinals.
D. Brown goes out. Lamar Smith checks back in.
That's your raw.
Gets the carry. He doesn't get much. He picks up 2 yards. Fred Wakefield with the tackle.
Carolina absolutely loves this play. They run this play more than anything else in the playbook, and it is their primary running play. And basically, they'll just use the tight end, pull him in motion right here, and then he'll lead up. Nesbitt will pull and lead up, and then Smith will get behind him and try to get into the running lane. Job by Fredrickson and the other guys staying home in their gaps defensively, but certainly that's Carolina's favorite run offensively.
Another 3rd and long. They have to get the 49 for the first down. Isaac Byrd gets it to the 45 of Arizona. Another Carolina first after 14 yards on the pass.
Isaac Byrd starting to get into the groove here. Again, no catches last week in Green Bay. They knew they needed him to get him the football. They're doing it here in this football game. Look at all the time Rodney has. Cool customer in the pocket. Waiting for Isaac Byrd to get open over the middle zone. And then just fires it right in there. And Ronaldo Hill again taking advantage of on the play.
Now remember, Bird's in the game because Muhammad has that injured hamstring, so Isaac getting his 2nd straight start. Brad Hoover, the fullback. Picks up a yard on the run.
Ronald McKinnon is a guy that he's not the biggest guy in the league. He only goes about 6 foot, but watch him fill on Brad Hoover. Now, Brad Hoover is a power running back. Watch this. Boom. Big hit there by McKinnon, and Fredrickson standing Hoover up and then taking him back. You watch Hoover run last week. This guy always gets positive yards. Not that time going against McKinnon.
On 2nd down. Pete rolling to his right.
Look at all the
directing
time.
traffic, and then completes the pass out to Steve Smith.
Curt, it's the biggest mismatch in this football game is the Cardinals' ability to get pressure and Carolina's ability to pass protect. They've only given up 9 sacks on the season. The Cardinals have only gotten 5 sacks defensively. Rodney again all day to throw, directing traffic out there outside of the pocket, waits for Steve Smith to come open and then fires it in.
24 yards on the game.
That's just too easy. You can't, any quarterback in this league, you give him that kind of time with the athletic ability at the receivers, he's going to find him.
So after the 24-yard pickup, it's first down at the 20. Pete almost picked off by Ronaldo Hill. Well, he was going for Isaac Byrd once again, but Hill had that one sniffed out.
Boy, not a good decision to throw that football by Rodney Pete. You're going to see Byrd here, and he's going to go and then take it in. You're going to see the safety come over the top for blanket coverage. Hill is right there in great position to get that football down. I think Byrd was thinking about taking that shot from Kwame Lassiter.
The pitch to Lamar Smith. Smith gains 3 yards on the play. Fred Wakefield with the stop. Well, you want to come out in the second half and get something started. This is one way to do it. We're coming up on the 10th play of the opening drive.
Well, we talked about time of possession and how big that is for both football teams and their success. And the time of possession thoroughly was dominated by Arizona in the first half of that game. And I think that was preached at halftime. And Coach Fox says we got to go out and control the ball and control the clock.
We go with 3 wide receivers on third down, needing to get it to the 10-yard line. Pete dumps it off Smith with a one-handed catch, but because he had to turn around to make the catch, didn't have the momentum to run with it afterwards.
Well, finally a little pressure inside for the Arizona Cardinals, and Rodney threw that football, and it was well behind Lamar Smith. Rodney goes back here, looking off his first and second receiver. Feels the pressure, has to get rid of it. Ball's behind Lamar Smith. Still comes up with a good one-handed grab. Not enough for the first down.
Shane Graham, who missed his one and only kick as a Panther last week, on to try this one from 32 yards away. And he's feeling a little love from the home folks after that one.
And he needs a little love. Back in the pocket, and I mean, that was the theme coming in. You watch Steve come down and come inside. He'll get open. The theme coming in was Arizona's inability to get after the passer. They've only got 5 sacks on the season. I don't think they've gotten one good hit on Rodney Peete all day today.
Arizona's defense hadn't allowed a play over 20 yards all season. They've given up 3 today. As Lamar Smith lowers his head, fights his way down to the 15-yard line.
That ball could be loose, Curt.
It did pop out, and they're trying to sort out the pile right now. And
That's going
Arizona recovers. Second fumble of the day by Smith.
And it's in the red zone. This is where Carolina cannot afford to have turnovers. They did it last week against Green Bay twice. Down in the red zone, did not come away with anything. And here, Lamar Smith puts it on the ground, and Bob McElwee, you see there, the head referee signaling Arizona football. That hurts.
So a couple of big plays will be erased by another turnover. And so Arizona will take it over, trailing 10-6.
Same thing we saw last week against the Giants. The defense giving Arizona a chance to win the football game.
Damian Anderson with the carry. Anderson right back to the line of scrimmage.
Here's the fumble caused by Raynoch Thompson, and Ronaldo Hill able to come up with it. It's the old bread and butter play, the counter. Everybody pulling around. You'll see Raynoch right here. That's him, number 55. He'll flash in, knock that football loose. Goes right into the hands of number 21, Ronaldo Hill there, who comes up with the recovery.
The Panthers had no fumbles through the first 3 games, all wins. Last week, Rodney Peete put it on the ground twice. This week, Lamar Smith has put it on the ground
and
twice.
It's the most inopportune places on the football field, Curt, down in the red zone.
The pitch to Anderson. Steps out of bounds right at the 15-yard line. David Boston may have gotten away with a hold there.
Oh, he did get away with a hold there. He had a whole handful of jersey. He was creating an edge over there for Damian Anderson.
Well, I guess if you're not going to catch the ball, try and do something.
David Boston is 248 pounds, and watch him here on Emmanuel McDaniel. See him get a hold of that jersey right there. Even pulled his little shoulder pad out.
Boston doing something to try and help the team. This Cardinals offense has struggled.
Look at here
this afternoon.
Third and long again. They're trying to avoid.
They've had 5 3-and-outs on 8 series, and so we'll use a timeout to discuss this one on another 3rd and long situation. Today, 0 for 5.
Look at that.
They've allowed.
That's huge.
And right now, Arizona has to get the ball to the 26-yard line. Plummer from the shotgun. That ball thrown incomplete in the direction of David Boston.
Good rush by Mike Rucker up inside again. Only a 4-man rush, and you see Rucker here. He'll come up inside and get some late pressure on Jake Plummer. You got 3 guys trying to block him there, and pulled to the side there by Freddie Jones. Not a good throw from Jake Plummer. He'll 2-skip this thing. 5 yards short of David Boston.
And so the turnover by Lamar Smith doesn't hurt them as far as points go. They'll get the ball back after the punt from Scott Blair. Blair's had a couple of 50-yard punts today, as has Sauerbrunn for the Carolina Panthers. This one to the 40-yard line. Steve Smith. Penalty marker down on the play as Smith gets into the open field.
Got a flag down.
Forced out of bounds at the 16-yard line by Kobe Reinhardt. But that one, my friends, is going to come back.
Yep.
44 on the point, 45 on the return, and it won't count.
Someone sloppy inside with the blocking. Didn't get away with it. Yeah, it's going to be holding against Carolina.
Holding number 25 of the receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And it's called on Emmanuel McDaniel.
Not a good play by Emmanuel McDaniel, and you're going to see him here. He's going to hold Kobe Reinhart right there. He's got a hold of him. He's got his jersey right there. Seemed like Reinhart ran himself by the play anyway, but nevertheless, once that cloth pulls away from the shoulder pads, you're going to see that yellow flag fly.
So a 45-yard kick return by Steve Smith is negated. It backs Carolina all the way up to their own 32-yard line. And so that's where they will begin. You can see they've done a good job of splitting up the run and the pass so far this afternoon. And they get the pass out to Isaac Byrd, who gets it near midfield, and another Carolina first down.
And Isaac Byrd is showing up in a big way today for Carolina. They needed him. Muhsin Muhammad down in the receiving corps. Wesley Walls beat up, and Rodney staying with Ike a whole way here. Gets him the football and then allows him to make things happen. Misses the tackle. Ronaldo Hill does, and Ike Byrd able to pick up some big positive yards. 16
yards on his 4th reception of the day. He only had 2 catches coming into this one. Pete overthrows Wesley Walls, incomplete. Well, that's what you need out of a 14-year veteran. Right now, they need him to get them to the 38-yard line for a first down. He's got time. Lofts it up for Isaac Byrd. Penalty flags come flying.
That almost looks like a makeup call on Ronaldo Hill, who got away with a big call earlier. You'll see Byrd here coming out of the slot, and Ronaldo Hill.
Pass interference number 21.
Looks like he is in perfect position. You see a little bit of a rub route. Isaac Byrd takes off, hesitates a little bit. I don't see anything wrong with that. Ronaldo Hill's got his head turned. Did have an arm in there, but had his head turned towards the quarterback for some incidental contact. That's a makeup call, Curt.
If you're Carolina and you know that the officials probably blew one earlier they shouldn't have, do you go to that for that reason?
No, that's what makes Rodney Pete.
Yeah.
He knew where to go with that football.
Thought you might get a little help, and they did.
Yep.
First down at the 28. Lamar Smith hitting the backfield and nowhere to go. Adrian Wilson wrapped him up, dropped him for a loss. Ray Thompson was the first guy to get him, but going back to that pass interference play.
Yeah, he hit him with the hand before he had the head turned.
It's close.
Bird's got the wings out. He wants a call, doesn't he?
Well, he got the call, and it worked to his advantage there.
Let's see what they do as they're getting down here into the red zone today, Curt.
They lost 2 yards on that run by Smith. Pete to Walls. Wesley Walls picks up 5 yards. Ray Thompson on the stop, but once again, Pete has plenty of time to survey the land before deciding where to go.
Boy, I don't know if Rodney's been hit all day long. Hey, look at his jersey, it's perfectly clean, and Wesley that way. Just flooding the zone, that's all you do. You put Hoover up in there, you send Lamar down, and then you put Wesley out there in a stop route, you flood that zone, and then check it down to him. And again, the great time for Rodney Pete. Arizona's got to either blitz more or something. They got to figure out a way to get in Pete's face.
Carolina needing the 18-yard line. Off the play action. There's the pressure, and Pete brought down for the sack. Kyle Vanden Bosch gets him. First sack of the day by the Cardinal defense.
Well, he and Wendell Bryant, the rookie out of Wisconsin, were both in on the play, and we talked about needing to get pressure. They only rushed 4. There he is. There's Bryant. Vanden Bosch looking inside. Look at the motor on this guy, just going. He and Wendell Bryant will share the sack there. Finally got pressure on Rodney Peete. Good coverage downfield also for Arizona.
And so Shane Graham comes on to attempt a 48-yard field goal. This one's up, and it is good. What pressure?
It's all downhill now, baby. Boy, he needed that. He missed it.
Season go worse. Anderson brought down by Mike Rucker in the backfield. We get it out to Los Angeles and JB for another game break.
Hey, Curt, something Keyshawn Johnson wanted to see happen a lot more. All-out blitz. Brad Johnson going to the hot read. Keyshawn Johnson, 76-yard pass play. First touchdown this season. Only the 5th TD for Keyshawn in the last 27 games. Mike Vick out with a sore, non-throwing shoulder. 10-6 Bucks. Back to Curt and Tim.
You know, I don't know statistically, but that's maybe the longest touchdown of Keyshawn's career. He is not a big play guy as far as yards go, but usually a lot of receptions. Anderson on the handoff, gets it back to the original line of scrimmage before Mike Minter stopped him. Well, this defensive line has played really well today for Carolina, led by number 93, Mike Rucker.
Big tackle for loss here for Rucker. Here's the mistake. You try to block him with the tight end, Freddie Jones. It's just not going to happen. He'll come right inside Freddie. Boom. Go and get the big tackle for loss. But you see Arizona, Curt, they come right back with the running play and able to pick up some positive yards, get back to the original line of scrimmage. But both of these teams have to have patience in the running game, and they will show it.
Well, they'll have one more quarter to try and do it. After 3, the hometown Cardinals on top. The crowd is fired up. It's 13-6 as we go to the 4th quarter. Charlotte is the place to be, at least right now on this Sunday.
24.
Get the sack on Jake Plummer. Mike Rucker, sack number 6 for him on the season.
Listen to the crowd get charged up here in Carolina. 0-8 here last year, and you watch Rucker. He'll come up inside, and then he'll fall back in and get in on the sack on Jake Plummer. All of these guys up front for Carolina have relentless pursuit to the football. That's just second effort by Rucker, who picks up his 6th sack on the year, and multiple hurries this year as well for the big Carolina defensive end.
Here's a guy who had 9 sacks last year, but no one knew it because he was on a 1-15 team. I think everybody knows who Mike Rucker is right now. You mentioned NFC Defensive Player of the Month for the first month. 6 sacks, which would place him 2nd in the NFL right now. And he's got a brand new contract to show for it as well.
Yep, they locked him up to the long-term deal, and this can change now to 6 since he's got 6 sacks on the season. But you see the 21 tackles and the 12 quarterback hurries. That's why he was NFC Defensive Player of the Month.
Scott Blair on for the punt. Another high kick for Steve Smith, who makes it at the 25. Oh, there's going to be a flag for a late hit. Smith was out of bounds, and that's the long snapper Nathan Hodel who got him, and Smith is still down.
Smith looks like he's holding his left leg a little bit.
Now remember, Muhsin Muhammad, who's their other starter at wide receiver, inactive last week, this week, and probably the next couple with a bad hamstring.
The Anthony Bright or Carl Hankton in the lineup if Steve Smith indeed was injured on the play.
Personal foul, hit out of bounds, unnecessary roughness. 48 of the kicking team, 15 yards, first down.
That's called on Hodel.
Yep, the long snapper. You'll see it here. Smith's already out of bounds right there. And Hodel comes in and lays on that left knee, and that's an obvious call for the side judge. Watch. He's already out. And Hodel takes a couple more steps and then lays out and hits him.
So after the personal foul, Carolina gets the ball at the 44-yard line. Smith tries to work things out on the sideline. They do the end around for Isaac Bird, and he's got nowhere to run. Loses a yard, in fact. Fred Wakefield on the stop.
Good chase there by Wakefield, and Vanden Bosch initially beat Curt on the play, but has the speed to pick it up and get out there and close it down.
Well, right now, Carolina going with Anthony Bright and Isaac Bird as their wide receivers on this play. And, you know, obviously not the situation they wanted, but right now they're still in control, up by a touchdown and the ball, looking for a little clock management.
And I'll tell you what they've done here in this second half is really controlled the time of possession, and that plays exactly into what Carolina wants to do.
The handoff taken by Lamar Smith. Smith gains 4 yards on the run.
We'll have the patience, Curt, just to stay with the running game. Not a lot in terms of yards per carry today for the Carolina Panthers, but what they'll do is just stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. When they have an opportunity to make a pass and make a play in the passing game, they've been able to come up with it.
And you see Steve Smith back in the game on 3rd down.
Arizona's got to have pressure again. It's the most critical thing right now in this football game.
Carolina needs the Arizona 46. Deep, under pressure. Wendell Bryant, the #1 draft pick for the Panthers, gets his first full sack as an NFL player.
Well, that's the second time he's been on the quarterback in the last 2 series, and we talked about their inability to get in Rodney Peete's face. Since Wendell Bryant has come into the game here, see him here at right defensive tackle, he's been able to come in and get some good hits on Pete. Just keeps working against Jamar Nesbitt. Good coverage downfield. And again, it's the nonstop motor of those big boys up front. It's able to get Rodney down for the sack.
Bryant playing in just his 3rd game, a late signee after being drafted #1 out of Wisconsin. Sauerbrunn with the boomer. Ronald Jackson lets that one bounce. Rolls out of bounds. They'll spot it at the 15-yard line.
Precision, skill, craftsmanship, good wrench. With GM certified technicians and advanced technology, no one knows your GM vehicle better than the pros at GM Good Wrench. It's good to know it's Good Wrench.
So that's your DirecTV system, and you're signed up with NFL Sunday Tickets.
So I'll get my Bears games.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Julie, you grew up in Green Bay. You married a guy, not a football team.
We get the Packers, too, right?
Yeah.
You're #1, Brett.
Packers? Who's Brett? Dan. I'm Dan.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Up to 14 regular season games every Sunday. And it's not on cable. Now get our best programming package free for 4 months.
Jason Statham is the transporter. He never made a mistake until today.
You broke the rules. You opened the package.
From the maker of La Femme Nikita and The Professional. This Friday, every delivery is guaranteed to be a rush. The Transporter. Rated PG-13. Friday only in theaters.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by DirecTV. Movies, music, and exclusive sports from the leader in digital satellite entertainment. By The Transporter, Friday only in theaters. By Coors Light, it's up and it's good. Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. Rock on. And by Microsoft, providing software for the agile business.
Arizona hasn't had many opportunities in the second half. Haven't done much with it when they have had it. Now they get a chance starting at their own 15-yard line. Off the play action. David Boston makes the catch, only his 2nd of the day. We need to catch up with JB for another game break. JB?
Hey, Curt, I think the rookie Patrick Ramsey is secure as the starting quarterback in Washington. Take a look at him stepping up, tossing his 2nd touchdown of the day, 23 yards to Kevin Lockett. It is Washington 24-14 over Tennessee in the 4th. Back to Curt.
Well, Ramsey was the guy that everyone thought was the best quarterback there, just inexperienced.
Well, you know, he almost ended up in Chicago. If you remember, he almost didn't sign his deal. They wanted to trade him on to Chicago and finally ended up signing the deal and getting into training camp.
16 yards on that last pass to Boston. Damian Anderson gets 1 yard, and he's brought down by Mark Fields.
Arizona's got to figure out something here in the second half offensively. 9 plays up to this drive, Curt, 9 plays for 2 yards for Arizona in the second half of this football game. And guys have dropped footballs. Jake has gotten sacked a couple of times. Guys have been in his face, and they have had absolutely no success on offense. They had 148 yards at half, and to this drive, only 150 total yards.
They bring in Marte Jenkins as the third wide receiver. Frank Sanders. Knocked out of bounds by Deion Grant. Ball spotted right at the 39-yard line. So it'll be a 3rd and short situation for the Cardinals.
This is the first time, really, since the first quarter that they've gotten themselves into 3rd and short. And we know what kind of success they had in the first half, especially the first quarter, Curt, moving the football when they would get themselves into 3rd and shorts. And then it was 3rd and long for the rest of the afternoon. Here they're starting to have some success on 1st and 2nd down, and same here at 3rd and 3.
This is the shortest third down attempt they've had all day. Yep. Anderson gets it. Drags the pile with him on 2nd effort, and not only gets the 1st down, but gets 8 yards on the run.
That's the rookie out of Northwestern, and they run a trap up inside with the offensive guard, Pete Kendall. You'll see Kendall here. He'll come around and just get up in the hole. Damian Anderson's just going to get on his hip right there. Good block, and then get up and just keep those legs moving. He's pulling a 320-pounder in Brenston Buckner right there, folks. An extra 3 yards. Pretty good effort by the rookie.
He's got 43 yards in his NFL debut. You can subtract a couple yards from that. Mark Fields brings him down in the backfield for a loss. Well, Tim, you were talking about the difference in yards between the first half and second half for this Arizona offense. Look at that, only 33 so far, and as you said, 31 coming on this drive.
Absolutely, and again, finally starting to get some things working right when they needed to. If I was Arizona, I'd put Jake in that 2-minute offense and just let him go without thinking. We saw what happened in the first half. That's when he's most dangerous.
On 2nd down. Plummer, quick pass out to Boston, makes the grab, and a penalty flag comes flying in late.
He's going to get the pass interference there on Dante Wesley, it looks like, on Boston's back before the football got there.
Defensive pass interference, defensive cornerback, automatic 1st down.
That's Dante Wesley, number 29 out here on David Boston and just in man coverage. And this is where David Boston is good, where he uses the big body. It's the same play we saw earlier, Curt, that Reggie Howard was able to pick off.
Well, Boston's got 2 catches here in the second half. Of course, that one won't count as a catch because they took the penalty, but they're trying to get him in a rhythm after only 1 grab for 15 yards in the first half.
Well, and they'll need him because he's had some big drops in this football game. He'll have to get a couple to get that confidence up.
1st down at the 43. Empty backfield for Arizona. Boston on his knees makes the catch. Good for a gain of 13.
Just staying with the passing game and feeling like they can pick up positive yards in chunks to David Boston. Remember, their top 2 backs are out. And Thomas Jones and Marcel Shipp. Makovica is out now, so got a bad left hamstring. Not a lot in the running game for Arizona.
They hand it off to Damian Anderson. Anderson going to be bottled up after a short gain of 4. Well, the one thing they have seen out of Anderson is the kid pushes the pile forward.
Yeah, he does. Again, you don't pick up over 3,000 yards in 2 seasons in the Big Ten. Of course, he came out of Northwestern if you don't know what you're doing at running back.
Well,
he's a pretty good college football player.
His junior year gained over 2,000, but got hurt as a senior. He was 5th in the Heisman voting as a junior, but came back that senior year, got banged up, and he's a bit of a small back, so being injured and small did not help him come NFL draft time. Under pressure, Plummer gets it out to Anderson, and that ball's fumbled. Plummer falls on it for the recovery.
Oh, Terry Cousins. You talk about coming up and laying the hammer down.
Well,
Terry Cousins will give you the corner support that you need, Curt, when you got a guy that you want to come up and make a hit. He's just going to check it down. Plummer to Damian Anderson. What's a hit? Wham!
Now they're ruling this an incompletion, and if you're Carolina, you may want to think about challenging this.
That's a
because
fumble.
They will determine the spot of the football.
That's a fumble, and there's the red flag by John Fox. That's a good call, Curt. Absolutely a fumble to me. It looked like Damian Anderson caught the football, took 2 steps, and then got it knocked out by Cousins.
Yeah, as I said, it determines this, and this is a field position game.
Huge.
So if it's a fumble, it's going to be backed up to where Plummer recovered. If it's an incompletion, they would get it back at the original line of scrimmage, which is the 28-yard line.
Terry Cousins is playing the best football of his career. There is no doubt about it. Did not do a lot in Chicago. Was Miami's nickel cornerback.
Atlanta, same thing.
In Atlanta, part of a great defense in Miami. They bring him out here.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field that it is an incomplete forward pass.
They bring Terry Cousins out here, and no doubt he has been their most consistent cornerback.
Take another look at this hit by Cousins and see if it caused a fumble or simply an incompletion.
1-2 hit. Looked like he got hit right when he got that second step down. And then Jake Plummer comes up with the fumble recovery.
Well, I don't know if you can see it on the replay here, but the original call, you will see an official mark it as a fumble. Then another official comes in and says it's an incompletion.
1, 2, bam. Oh, that is a vicious shot. I was just going to say I've been impressed with Damian Anderson's ball security, and he hasn't carried a football since preseason. Coming out here doing a good job, and I don't know who would have hung on to that one, though, with the shot that Terry Cousins just put on him.
So now Bob Lobby discussing things with his crew as John Fox tries to lobby as he talks, at least trying to talk them into making sure that they see what he sees, or at least wants them to see. That's the umpire, Jeff Rice, discussing it with Bob McElwee, the referee.
There is no challenge on the play. The pass was immediately ruled incomplete.
You know what? I'm telling you.
Oh, that is not true.
That is not what the call was.
No way.
I don't know if we have an angle where you can see an official mark that as a fumble and threw the marker down. Let's see if we can see from this angle.
No, you can't see, but
can't
clearly,
see
clearly that's a fumble.
Right in the middle of the field, it may have been the umpire, Jeff Rice, who marked that down, but they say that he didn't. And so it's ruled an incompletion. Arizona takes over at the 28-yard line on 3rd down. To the end zone. Incomplete for David Boston.
Another football that hit him in the hands, Curt. Here he is here. He's going to run it down and into the end zone and then has to start backpedaling. He'll turn around here. Now watch, he'll start backpedaling. Gets it on his fingertips and can't come down with it.
Dan Morgan running right with him.
That would have been his toughest catch all day, the way he was backpedaling.
Yeah, it would have been. Arizona going for it on 4th down. They have to get the ball to the 22-yard line for the first. And Boston can't get that one as the umpire, Jeff Rice, was right in his way. Kobe Reinhardt, in his 4th year out of SMU with his first career interception, gives Arizona the ball at the 37-yard line.
Sticky coverage there by Kobe Reinhardt on Steve Smith trying to run the takeoff route.
They come in with 3 wide receivers on first down. Plummer. Bobble and incomplete. Marte Jenkins, the intended receiver.
Job by Fields pulling his arms down, not giving the receiver an opportunity to come up with it. See Steve Smith here. He's just going to run a takeoff down the sideline. Kobe Reinhardt in perfect position the whole way, and this ball is way underthrown. Watch this. Kobe Reinhardt just turns around and goes up and gets the easy interception, and Rodney Peete knew it right when he got rid of it. He didn't put enough under that football.
But now it's up to Jake Plummer and the Arizona offense to take advantage. Damian Anderson wrapped up. Picked up 2 yards, but Dan Morgan made sure that was it. Clock now down under 5.5 minutes.
I just don't know if I like the play calling here. When you have an opportunity, only 5 minutes left in this football game, down by a touchdown. You haven't done anything for the most part the whole second half. Don't keep pounding it up inside there. Jake has finally got the time that he needs. There's Rich Olson there, the offensive coordinator, and Plummer's finally gotten some pretty good time in this second half. Let him do what he does best.
They have to get the ball to the 47-yard line. Flags fly. Going to be a false start called against the Arizona Cardinals.
Put themselves right into a 3rd and super long again.
False start, number 80. Offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's the tight end Mike Banks trying to get a jump. So it backs him up another 5 yards.
Give yourself an opportunity to get a completion, and then you get a stupid penalty like that. Now you're sitting at 3rd and 13.
Well, they have yet to convert the 3rd down over 7 yards today. 0 for 7 in this situation.
Carolina's done it to everybody, Curt, all year long.
Plummer under pressure. Ball caught by Frank Sanders. Right in front of Mike Minter. What an adjustment on the 36-yard reception.
Well, there you go with pretty good time. Here's Frank Sanders right here. And he's just going to take it deep and get to the soft spot of the zone. And Minter's not a real big guy. Watch Mike Minter. He's just going to come up and make the tackle. He didn't even try to get that football. Frank Sanders uses some good vertical there, gets a good lift, and goes up and gets that ball.
Arizona has it at the 30 of Carolina. Damian Anderson with running room. Picks up 13 yards and a 1st down.
Curt, you have to be able to run the football down in the red zone. It is absolutely key. Defenses love to play that umbrella coverage where they'll basically take every corner of that end zone away. Very hard to throw the football against the defense down in the red zone. You have to be able to run it. Good run there by Damian Anderson.
This Arizona offensive line coming through so far on this important possession. Could be their final one of the ball game with 3:30 left to play. Anderson again. Down to the 15. We go back out to Los Angeles and JB for another game break.
Curt, I tell you what, this New York, Dallas game back and forth. Take a look at Kerry Collins hooking up with Marcellus Rivers, 17-yard strike. Dallas now trailing 21-17. And Warren Sapp deflects the ball, intercepts the ball. The big fella takes off laterals to Derek Brooks. Brooks' 3rd touchdown of the season. That's 2 more than Keyshawn Johnson. Bucks on top, 19-6. Back to Curt and Tim.
Well, that's the 4th straight games the Buccaneers defense has a touchdown, and here at JB saved 3 by Derek Brooks.
Monty Kiffin, their D coordinator, doing a superb job with them.
2nd down for Arizona. Plummer can't find the man. Just gets rid of it out of bounds.
I like the fact, though, that they're going to try to take a shot into the end zone. He's looking at Jenkins the whole way, but again, there's that umbrella coverage. There's that coverage that makes it hard. Here's Jenkins out here. Runs it out. Look at everybody. You see Dante Wesley sitting back in his spot. It's that umbrella coverage. Big down here, Curt.
Well, they converted 3rd and long last time to keep this drive going. This time they need the 8-yard line to keep this one moving. Freddie Jones, the tight end, gets it, and a couple of blocks in front of him into the end zone for the touchdown.
What a call by Rich Olson, the offensive coordinator. That is absolutely perfect. Had a good feeling that Carolina was going to bring the blitz. They bring the blitz. You see Dan Morgan, he's going to come up inside, and he's going to be a blitzer. Fields also going to be a secondary blitzer out to the side. Look at, there's nobody out there. Set up perfectly, executed by the offensive line, and Freddie Jones goes in untouched.
His first touchdown as a Cardinal, Arizona's first touchdown of the day. And the Bill Gramatica extra point goes through to tie this game at 13 apiece. 2:38 left to play here in Charlotte. We've got a good one. And he runs it out to the 25-yard line. Well, the Cardinals looked like they were out of this until the last offensive possession by Carolina. And that's when Cody Reinhardt picked off Rodney Pete. They converted a huge 3rd down and long to keep the drive going, and Freddie Jones capped it off with a 15-yard reception from Jake Plummer for the score.
And Freddie Jones has had some key plays today. In the second quarter, when they put that drive together to get that field goal on the board, who did Jake go to a couple of times in a row? Freddie Jones was the guy.
All 3 timeouts left for Carolina, starting at their 25. Pete. Hoover. 7 yards.
See the score by quarters there. There it is, that 4th quarter, 7 for Arizona.
Carolina uses its first timeout with 2:18 left to go. Keep in mind, this is just the first game of our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. Coming up next, either Philadelphia and Jacksonville or the Rams and 49ers.
I'm excited to see how Jamie Martin does today, to be honest with you. I mean, they've got the weapons in the receiving core, and we know Curt Warner is down now for a while with that broken pinky finger. Jamie Martin came in last week, Curt, and threw for a bunch of yards, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does against that San Francisco D.
Well, pending the outcome of other games, obviously, Carolina came in tied for first place in the NFC South at 3-1. Arizona just a half game behind San Francisco in the NFC West. The winner of this game could be in first place by themselves in their division. So this is an important game for both squads. Lamar Smith on 2nd down. It's going to be right near that first down marker. Russell Davis with the tackle. Now this is going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Carolina 65 yards away from the end zone. The question is, how far are they away for Shane Graham to attempt a game-winning field goal? They've got both timeouts left. Deep. Dropped. Anthony Bright, the intended receiver, but there was Adrian Wilson right there with him.
Should have had that football. Good throw by Rodney Pete. Skinny post by Anthony Bright. And see him take off, and he's going to get inside there. Rod puts it right where it needs to be. Flat out drop. And you're in the 4th quarter. You're tied. There's less than 2 minutes left, Curt. You have an opportunity. You better make that grab.
I mentioned he's a kid on the field for the first time today, mostly because of injuries. On 2nd down from the shotgun, Pete gets rid of that one. D. Brown, the nearest receiver. And so now Carolina faced with a long 3rd down.
Got a pretty good stun up the middle there. Try to get some pressure on Rodney Pete. See up inside. Running some games, and offensive line doing a good job. They've done a pretty good job for the most part all day long, giving Rodney the protection.
They have to get the ball to the 45-yard line for the first, but obviously this will be 4-down territory. And And the flags come flying.
False start. Number 85, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Wesley Walls just made a 3rd and long. What do you call it? Super long?
3rd and super long. 3rd and 10 plus is super long.
This will make it 3rd and 15.
Rodney's stats there. Had some more big plays here in the second half. It's the same statistically, but a couple of more big plays, and it's that big interception right there here in the fourth quarter. It's the reason why this football game's tied up.
Well, they'll need him to convert a big 3rd down here. Once again, this is 4-down territory. They've got 2 plays, basically, to pick up the 15 yards. And you can see in 3rd and long today, it's going to struggle.
2 for 8. 3rd and 7 plus.
Needing the 45. Out of the backfield, D. Brown. David Barrett just grabs onto him and hangs on.
And that is a great play by David Barrett. Tremendous strength to hold on to D. Brown with one hand there and rip him down for about a 2-yard gain. 3-man pass rush up front. Got the screen set up anytime they're dropping 8. Job by Barrett there. Look at him just hang on to D. Brown with one hand, and it's a big play there by David Barrett. And defensively, when you drop 8 and only rush 3, very difficult to get big yards on the screen. You got so many guys, Curt, back in coverage that can all come in and converge on that tackle.
Arizona uses its final timeout to stop the clock in a 13-13 ball game.
Sending 5 guys out, no backs right there.
That's incomplete in the direction of Freddie Jones. Well, the longest kick for Bill Gramatica so far this season that he has made was 39 yards. And so, at least based on that, they need to pick up some yardage for it.
But Jake Plummer, you want anybody else to have the football, Curt, in the fourth quarter than Jake Plummer right now?
Well, Gramatica did kick a 41-yarder earlier today, so
18 career comeback wins for the Snake.
You've got to get him in field goal range here, though. That ball batted away by Peppers, picked up by Plummer and thrown out to Marte Jenkins. Makes the catch.
Are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness. What awareness from Jake Plummer. Peppers comes and knocks that football out. See Peppers here. He's going to come around the end and just swat that ball out just as Jake's trying to deliver it. Right there. Has an opportunity to grab it. Can't get to it. Jake Plummer picks it up. Look at the savvy by Jake Plummer. Look at Jenkins not giving up down the field. Running the scramble drill. Running the scramble drill. He's going to get open on the sideline. I told you about Jake when he improvises, didn't I? When Jake Plummer isn't thinking, Jake Plummer is making plays.
They pick up 17 yards on that pass. And now we may have a challenge. Remember, it's under 2 minutes. So if there is a challenge, it has to come from the call was made that he was inbound. So they have to see evidence to prove that he was not.
No, he's in.
We are checking the catch at the sideline for
Both feet are
inbound.
in. Got the right one down and then drug the left. You see him here. He'll get the right one down there, and then he'll start dragging this left one right behind it.
That's still from far away. Kind of hard to tell if that right foot was planted on the line or in not. But, you know, we go back to the original point that as long as the call that he was in bounds, unless you show something to prove that he was not, they have to stay with the original call, which is a completion.
And they're seeing the same looks we are. We haven't seen anything that's indisputable, Curt, that'll turn it over.
Well, it has not been an easy first season for John Fox. He won his first 3 games, but they were close. And then last week, losing in the final seconds at Green Bay. Right now, 1:13 to play. He's in a tie ball game.
This is where he'll need his defense to really make some big plays. And they are ranked #1 in the National Football League. And I think they really proved it last week against Green Bay. They went up and really attacked Brett Favre and that Green Bay offense, who had been #1 in the NFC in terms of yards at about 427 a game, and stymied them to under 300 yards up at Lambeau Field. If indeed this isn't overturned and it is a catch, it's an absolutely huge play by Marte Jenkins, able to come down with that football, but even bigger, Curt, by Jake Plummer.
Yeah.
And the presence to come up with that football after the forced fumble and still continue to play.
And not many guys, after watching the ball get knocked out of their hands, would pick it up and throw. A lot would just fall on it and try and save the ball.
Absolutely.
Here comes the call from Bob McElwee.
After reviewing the play, there was nothing definitive to change the ruling on the field. The ruling on the field stands. Catch. First down.
And that's why Jake is the snake, because he slithers out of situations and makes the most out of them. And there's not a bigger play, Curt, made in this football game here today.
Well, I don't think we can underestimate either the fact they had a long time to talk about what they want to do while the officials took a look at that replay. They've got the ball at the 37-yard line, first down. Screen pass, Anderson. Out near the first down marker. Gain of 10 yards. Got the first. Don't forget game 2 of our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader your way right after we're done here in Carolina. Plummer. Over the middle. That pass caught by Anderson. Clock down under 40 seconds. Arizona with no timeouts. Plummer spiking the ball. So right now the ball is at the 38-yard line, which would be roughly a 55-yard kick. Gramatica, you see that 41-yarder he made is the longest of the season. His career long, 52 yards.
Obviously, as you mentioned, he's got the leg to go 50 plus, but if you're Arizona, you got to pick up another 10 yards, make it easier on your kicker here, and look for Freddie Jones over the middle for Jake Plummer to check it down to. Freddie, David Boston right there. Freddie Jones next to each other.
Plummer from the shotgun, on the draw, trying to get out of bounds, makes it.
Good job, Jake. Good job, baby.
Ball now down to the 32-yard line.
Obviously a called quarterback draw for Jake Plummer to see what he can pick up, and he's out there and gets himself 6 yards. And he's on his horse right now. He's off to the races, and also gets out of bounds. And this is a huge, not only a huge drive and huge series, but really a big year, Curt, for Jake Plummer. He's in his contract year, and this is what Jake Plummer gets paid for right here, folks, what he does in the fourth quarter.
To the air. Pass. Oh, he's lucky that wasn't picked off. Oh, Dante Wesley turned around. The ball was right there, but he didn't grab it.
Hey. Bad decision by Jake. Trying to get it out to David Boston. Wesley's looking at his eyes. Look at Jake is looking that way the whole way. Wesley turns around and didn't get his head turned around quick enough as Jake was focused on Marte Jenkins the whole way.
So Bill Gramatica on for the 50-yard field goal attempt. Carolina calling a timeout.
Carolina.
The old icing.
I don't know if that works for these
I'm always a believer
kickers.
that never works.
Not for the guys that have been there too many times before.
Last week, though, it worked in Green Bay's favor. They called
with a
timeout.
rookie kicker.
Well, yeah, he was a guy who had just basically gotten off the bus to sign with his team. Gramatica, of course, was a kicker with this club, the brother of Martin Gramatica, and up until he got hurt last year.
Yep.
Then has been back this season. He's really been kind of up and down, had missed one of his last 3 kicks before today and had only a long of 39, but he's been consistent today with 2 kicks of 41 and 28. Right now they need him to be good from 50 yards out to go ahead by 3 in this game. A long way to go. He gets it up cleanly.
Oh, he got it.
No problem whatsoever as Gramatica puts that one through, and Arizona takes the lead.
Oh. Well, that's a boomer by Gramatica, but what does it come down to? It comes down to the turnover margin in this football game, and it's 3 turnovers to 1 turnover in favor of Arizona. And I mean, he knew this the whole way. Right when Gramatica released it and pulled that left leg through, he knew he had it.
Now, Gramatica said he was going to calm down.
Let's see.
After he hurt himself last year with his celebration. This one, he's a little more subdued.
Yeah, just a little.
But this one, reason to celebrate. This could be a game winner from 50 yards away. On the other sideline, John Fox watching it go through and feeling disappointment.
Really a evenly matched football game today, Curt. And Dave McGinnis, he's all fired up. I don't think there's a nicer guy in the NFL than Dave McGinnis, the head coach at Arizona.
John Fox, maybe.
Maybe.
There's 16 seconds left to go, however, and Carolina does have a timeout remaining.
Of course, I'm biased with Mac, though. I played 5 years with him in Chicago.
Well, we will see if Carolina can get the ball back in field goal range for their kicker, Shane Graham, to try and get one to tie it. And this may help them as it goes out of bounds by Gramatica.
Oh.
The ball will be spotted at the 40-yard line.
And a new rule in the NFL this year, Curt, the clock doesn't start. Absolutely does not start until now the offense. If it's a touchback or if it's kicked out of bounds, you see that 16 seconds right there, it never moved. That helps out the receiving team, obviously. Gramatica just trying to kick it away from Steve Smith. He's an electrifying return man and just too much left side there and pushes it right out of bounds.
And so with one timeout, 16 seconds to go on the clock, Carolina gets it at the 40-yard line.
3-man rush, prevent defense for Arizona.
Pete over the middle to D. Brown. He pitches it to Steve Smith, and Smith is wrapped up. David Barrett stops him after an 8-yard gain.
The old hook and ladder.
Carolina, that's the last charge time.
Well, talk about preventing a big play. Barrett with, we don't know just yet, but maybe, possibly, a game-saving tackle, because if Smith gets away, he's got plenty of room to run, setting up a field goal at the least.
And Smith is terrific in the open field. You see the hook and ladder here as Rodney finds D. Brown, then he'll just pitch it to Steve Smith, who's got an open field, and boy, what a face-up tackle there by David Barrett. Watch Barrett playing it the whole way. Picture-perfect form tackle.
So now
you got to take it to the sidelines, Curt.
With 7 seconds left and no timeouts.
Got to pick up 25 yards and get it on the sideline and get it out of bounds.
Pete just throws it out of bounds. He got the receiver that went down in Anthony Bright. And they get no flag.
Anthony Bright got tripped up by Ronaldo Hill. It's exactly what I said. 25-yard route to the sideline, and Bright here, and he's going to get up and get it out down to the sideline. You'll watch him get his feet tangled up with Ronaldo Hill here.
Incidental contact.
Incidental contact for the trip, and beautiful throw. He could have stayed on his feet. That had an opportunity, and that's exactly what you want to do. You get it out of bounds, 2 seconds left, and you would have had an opportunity.
So everyone from Arizona backing up, playing deep. Pete pulls it up. Nothing but red jerseys there as it's picked off by Kwame Lassiter. And the Arizona Cardinals, who were down 13-6 to start the fourth quarter, come back and win it 16-13.
This team has not been 3-2, Curt, since 1991. Huge win for Arizona.
They go to 3-2, dropping the hometown Carolina Panthers to 3-2. Final score, 16-13, Arizona wins it.
The Cardinals around for 3.5 quarters while Rodney Pete and the offense build a 7-point advantage.
Fires downfield, Burks there, got it, touchdown, Panthers!
But no lead is safe against fourth quarter comeback specialist Jake Plummer, whose touchdown pass to Freddie Jones tied the score before the Redbirds got the ball back with 86 seconds left.
Plummer has the ball. Back to throw. Pepper's knocked it loose. Plummer gets it back.
He's rolling to the left side. He's going to throw it downfield, and it's caught by Jenkins. What a play by the Snake.
That's why you call him Jake the Snake, and that's why he's done this 18 times. Peppers knocks it out of his hands. It goes down on the ground. He picks it up. He's got just enough speed to get outside of him, and then he throws just a lightning bolt down to Marte Jenkins.
With no timeouts remaining, the Cardinals stormed through the thunderstruck Panthers, and Arizona had a chance to continue its surprising start when Bill Gramatica lined up for a 50-yard game-winning field goal.
Snap is good.